Mr. Zagaris, real estate question. I think this is a lot of people. How can a small fish real estate investor survive amongst the sharks with unlimited cash and buying real estate when I use traditional bank loans? So this person's saying, hey, I go and make offers on houses and I can't win because I'm going to use traditional debt financing versus some multimillionaire walking in and saying, I'll give you $150,000 for it and close in 10 days. How do they compete with that?
It's difficult. The biggest challenge we have in the residential marketplace today is that there's not very much inventory. And the reason there's not very much inventory is despite the fact that there are innumerable homes in default, there are innumerable homes in which the people are not paying their mortgage payments, the financial institutions haven't figured out a way to deal with those issues. The loan modifications that you hear about, by and large, are not taking place. A few are, but the vast majority of people kind of have been led down the primrose path on that. And the net result is we have a very small supply of houses, and people who have cash do have an advantage. I will say that, that oftentimes it doesn't matter. Some of the banks who are the primary sellers, don't, as long as the people are qualified, they don't give a preference to all cash buyers. In some cases, some of the financial institutions would prefer they were a typical home buyer rather than an all cash buyer. But all cash buyers have advantages, particularly at the courthouse steps, where you have to have all cash, and in many of the other transactions. So I would say you have to have patience, and one of the big problems is people are making offers on 5, 10 houses before they get one. That is and I will assure you of this, the real estate agents, would prefer not to have to write up 10 houses in order to sell you one, but that is the weirdness of our current market, and I don't think it's going to go away for a while. So patience is a virtue here. If you have patience, you'll get something. You just have to be prepared to strike out a number of times in order to get, the home that you want. It's an unusual, unique, historically unique, different kind of market, so it does require a certain amount of patience. So I think you just have to keep plugging away. You can buy homes, but you just have to keep plugging away, and you have to suffer through, and oftentimes suffer through a number of circumstances in which you strike out. And some of those are where people have all cash, they move right in.
So roll up your sleeves and do the work, and
yeah,
it may take some time.
Right. You have to be prepared for that, and I think people get frustrated. And, this is the whole thing about, failing. You have to fail a bunch of times to get a success. You have to make a whole bunch of runs at houses before you get one. And if you're going to fold up your tent and go away because you tried it 3 times and it didn't work, it's probably not the right area of investing for you.
Okay, in that same vein, I think we all want to know, and we do have a real estate breakout where we're going to answer through Paul Harmon at PMZ all the real estate related questions that you want to ask. And again, that's out in the lobby. So I'm going to ask Mike the question, real brief. Values 5 years from now, up, down, how much?
Values, my own sense of this.
Own
is,
opinion.
First of all, the building industry has basically gone away in this area. There's a very, very small amount of new home construction that's going on in this area. And to the extent that there is any new home construction, it's on finished lots that the builders have been able to acquire for literally nothing, lots that were taken over by banks. So there's not a lot of new supply, and there is a tremendous amount of demand for lower priced homes. House prices actually are trending up. My sense is that within 5 years, I think there'll be a dramatic increase in the low end of the market in 2 or 3 or 4 years. The people who are buying homes today are going to be the happiest people in the world as long as they don't forget the lessons that they should have learned by observing this recent market. When their homes go up in value, don't pull equity out. Don't use your home for an ATM. Don't put a stupid loan on your home. But people who are buying their homes today with, we're talking 5% range interest rates, 30-year fixed loans at very low prices. These people are going to be very, very happy people. So my own sense is that, house prices will go up. just like the stock market in the last year has gone up substantially. And, a year ago today, the stock market was way lower than it is today. Well, the economy is better today than it was a year ago, but it's not that much better. The markets, whatever they are, whether they're the stock market or the real estate market, they tend to overreact. They are run by fear and greed. And right now, fear still reigns supreme in the housing market. And a few years ago, greed did. And when everybody around you thinks real estate's the best thing to do, get out. And when everybody around you thinks real estate's the last place you want to be, take a serious look at it. And I think that goes for anything you can be involved in. When that's why today, despite the fact that the economy is in the shape that it's in, what does that mean? That means that most people are paralyzed, most people are disillusioned, most people are scared to act. So those people who do will be able to get in at a far lower cost and do better. Our family's business grew, did its major piece of growth started in the early the early 80s when the prime rate was in excess of 20%. And I told my siblings, hey, let's grow the business. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you see light at the end of the tunnel? No. I said, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's easy to grow our business today. We can take market share all over the place because our competitors are scared to death. So it is in a period like this where the real estate market provides opportunities. But don't be foolish. Take on what you can manage. You always have to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen to me? The worst thing that can happen to you is you buy 3 rentals and they're empty. Right?
According to Dan, you learned from that lesson.
You do. But I'm offering a lesson in advance so that you don't have to learn as often.
Oh. Well, I do want to let you know that our panel has been very gracious with their time, and they're all business people right here in our community. They live in our community, they spend money in our community, and they all employ people that work and live in our community. And it's very gracious for them to come out and share their tips and tricks on not only how to survive in this economy, but how to win and beat it. And I really, again, applaud the 3 of you for coming out on a Thursday evening and sharing with our audience. So thank you very much.